Oh no, we suck again. Knicks lose 111-98 to the Indiana Pacers. And this game was kind of a lot like how the Knicks have been winning their first few games. Um, we just they just beat us up in the first quarter, and we kind of just went blow for blow with them the rest of the game. They were able to just keep us at an arm's length away. Um, Miles Turner just went off. I mean, he 7 of 10 from three, the most threes he's ever hit in a career. The You get to see the beauty and the perks of playing five out. Um, Malcolm Brogdon has like a really ugly jump shot, but it's so pure from the free throw line. I kept thinking it was TJ McCullough for some reason, thinking like, oh man, like you should shoot threes, but he went 6 of 12 from the three. He just absolutely dominated Kemba Walker. I mean, he just got where he wanted to go, no matter what. Kemba was like zero resistance, and the weird thing about it is that Tibbs decided to play him 28 minutes. Like I understand if Kemba's hitting shots that it kind of like makes some sense for him to be in the game, but when Rose is 5 of 11 and Kemba's 2 of 11 and Rose is -2 and Kemba's -11, doesn't it make sense to go with the guy that's actually hitting shots and gets dribble penetration? Like, yeah, it's nice that Kemba draws a charge here or there, but he's so tiny. Like, Rose is 6'4". What are we doing here, Tibbs? I also feel like RJ was going off in the third. And I know, like, RJ could be tired. He has been playing a bunch of minutes, but he was the best guy, Nick, on the floor. And to pull him out and then bring in Randall sooner than RJ just seems like a big mistake. Tibbs is known for riding the hot hand. I just don't understand why he would choose to go that route. Um, as you guys can see, that it's just me and Kyle tonight. Moo's working, and Coke is so upset he didn't want to join us tonight. I'm sure he would have had lots of things to say about Julius Randle. Kyle, you give me some input so I'm not just here ranting by myself.
No, I like it. I like it. Come on, go off. Nope.
All right.
No,
All right.
no, no, I got it. I mean, you pretty much nailed it. The only thing I would add is when you talk about bringing Randall back, like Obi was playing really well for the limited minutes he got. I mean, well, for Obi standards, 3 for 3, 1 of 2 from the line. Let me just take a second to talk about. We need to fix our free throw shooting, and like
Yeah.
it's a team issue. Like, I know RJ isn't the best at it, but he definitely improved from his rookie year to now where he's in the low 70s. But everyone is it feels like we're missing a lot of free throws. I know that wouldn't make up the difference tonight, but a lot of nights that is gonna kill you. Then
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, he drew the foul on that 3-pointer that he took, and for him to hit 2 of 3, I think that would have if he hit all three would have brought us back down to like 7 or something like that. Yeah, it's they're backbreakers. It's like when you need every single point and the clock is ticking down, and you just miss a key free throw. It just it's demoralizing. And
yeah,
in a
yeah,
game when you're down by so much in the first quarter and you're clawing your way back in, you can't take every point for granted, at any point for
right,
granted.
right. And the other thing that you talked about, you mentioned Miles Turner going off. I want to talk about that because I know a lot of people are going to be like, "Oh, that's entirely on Mitch. That's Mitch's guy. You need to cover him," and that's true. But when you watch the games, and this is one of the things that I noted in preseason, is that our guards aren't stopping anybody, so Mitch has to do a lot of work. So it's either
Yeah.
give up the drill penetration or give up Miles Turner for three. And
And
I
Miles Turner is not a great 3-point shooter. He shoots like 32, maybe 33%. So
right,
it's like that's usually a shot you're gonna want to give up.
yeah.
You know,
So
like
so Miles Turner for his career is at 35% from three, but he hasn't cracked 35% in a season since 2019. So that's
right.
the last 4 years. So when I think about Miles Turner, I don't think of him as a stretch five. He's not really a 3 point shooting big. He's a guy who can take threes to keep the defense honest. That's usually what he
Yeah.
does. But tonight
Just
he was
enough
just
so you can
perfect.
play five out. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
normally if Miles Turner is taking 10 threes, you're okay with that.
yeah. If
Because he's
any other night,
hitting maybe
any other
three
night,
of them.
yeah, any other
Right.
night. If you had told me coming into this game that Miles Turner would be taking 10 threes, I would say, you know what, we probably had a good game plan coming, but he
Yeah.
made it. So that's one of those things where, yeah, Mitch does need to get better at closing out to his man on the perimeter. He always has been pretty bad at that, but it's also we have to scheme around our bad defense from our guards, and it's
Yeah.
just
Which
it's
is definitely the roughest thing.
yeah.
Um, and I didn't really notice Fournier getting beat up too badly, but Kemba was like every time down the floor. Like I think the worst substitution was, I think it might have been like 8 minutes left ish. When he pulled Rose for Kemba,
Mm-hmm.
I was just like, I think it was like maybe like 5 minutes. I posted in the game thread. I was just like, oh, I'm like, there goes the game. You know, Kemba can't stay in front of anybody. You know,
Yeah,
his help defense is
yeah,
okay, but like he's just offers no resistance to
yeah.
guards.
Like you said, it's he takes a lot of charges, and I always kind of feel weird about putting charges as a positive defensive category because to me they're kind of like those things where it can be good, but also I'd rather have a guy who can stay in front of his man and just play solid man defense rather than a guy that
Yeah,
gets a bunch of charges. I know, a charge is basically a turnover, but to me, it's questionable. You can't just say this guy draws a lot of charges. He's good on defense. He's net positive.
yeah,
So when I look at the when I look at the roster, though, man, we do not have any good perimeter defenders outside of RJ, and even then, RJ is not gonna be able to lock down a point guard. He's a solid man defender on wings. The smaller
I,
guy you put him on, the worse he's gonna be because he doesn't have that elite physical trait. He's not super athletic. He's just decently athletic. He's not super long. He's just decently long. So I
and yeah,
see us.
he honestly he really hasn't been that great defensively in the last couple games.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
been
he was good against I guess the Bulls game has probably been the last game that he was like actually really great defensively.
his
He
his man to man defense is still really good, I would say. But him off the ball, I think he has a
yeah
few mental lapses, and I'm not sure. I want to
he
say,
ball watches for sure.
yeah, I want to say part of it is also because he's now starting to take that increased role in offense. It's kind of dipping him down a little bit on defense, but either way, there's something he needs to work on. But talking about defense, man, I just do not see the effort from Julius anymore. Like
Yeah,
we talked about it even earlier on in the season, is when he's trying, he is a really good defender. He has the ability to be a lockdown defender, but he's just not really trying the last few games, and that really sucks to see. I don't know what it is with him. Some people are some people are speculating it might be the second kid is keeping him up all night. Uh, Other people are saying that he's not happy about RJ being the number one now. I think part of it is he does have to he is in the process of adjusting to not having to be 100% on every night for us to win.
yeah.
So that's an adjustment he has to make. But other than that, it's just effort. And Coke has been saying this. I would love for him to say this, but I'll say it because I agree with him. Tibbs needs to hold Randall accountable.
Yeah, absolutely.
If one person is not held to the standard does not exist. So if you're not being held accountable, if your star player is not being held accountable, other guys aren't going to be willing to go as hard. They're not going to be willing to hold themselves accountable because well he's not being held accountable. So clearly, if I'm good enough, I won't have to be held accountable. I just don't like that, and I think that is something that Tibbs is letting permeate the locker room a bit.
I mean, and nobody boxes out either.
Yeah, Mitch kind
I
of
know.
does, kind of.
Yeah.
He's not great at it.
I mean, it's just like, how many times have you seen like Randall or RJ like get a guy right behind them that rebounds the basketball?
Mm-hmm.
And it's both of them. It's not even just like point fingers at Randall, who I do feel like it happens more often too. But they're standing at 8 feet, and then the rebound goes 11 feet.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you should be like looking for a body and backing up.
Yeah.
This is like basketball 101 stuff. And you know what? We didn't even get beat on the rebounds tonight, but it does feel like we got beat on the rebounds.
Mm-hmm. I
You
feel
know
I
that
feel like Randall is a really good example of how a player can get a lot of rebounds, but not really impact the game the way you want a player who gets a lot of rebounds to do. Same thing with Andre
sure.
Drummond. Uh,
Yeah.
like just getting a lot of rebounds does not make you Dennis Rodman. Does not make you a good rebounder. It's all part of the thing. You know, you look at effort, you look at boxing out. I know I don't have the stats on me. I know they do track that kind of stuff, but Randall is just not good enough at it. And what I'd like to see from him is he needs to say, "Hey, it's not just RJ. I have legitimate weapons. I have Kemba. I have Evan Fournier. You know, we have Rose and Burks and Quickly off the bench, even though Quickly has been great. I can take a step back on offense, put everything I have into defense, and be like a super Draymond Green type. Like,
I think that like right now his most effective offense is drawing fouls and shooting
yeah,
free throws.
yeah,
There's some people that joke on Twitter about college football that the best offense in college football is the all pass interference offense,
mm-hmm.
where you just like because college
yeah,
cornerbacks are pretty bad, you just throw
yeah,
the ball deep up to them. Yeah,
yeah,
that's what it kind of feels like with Randall. I feel like he's just very uncomfortable in all spots on the floor, and he seems to only be able to put up points when he draws fouls. I mean, he had eight free throws tonight, and otherwise he was 6 of 16 for 12 points.
mm-hmm.
You know, six free throws make it more field goal attempts than points, or more points than field goal attempts, so it makes it a little less terrible. But it's not been good. The jumper has abandoned him, and he's not taking advantage of any of the catch and shoot opportunities that has been created for him with with Kemba and Evan and RJ taking people off the bounce.
Yeah. Like,
Like,
just think about it. Like, how good would a pick and pop game with Julius Randle be? Like,
right?
especially if you think about it, like you can use him as that short roll passer. He
Yeah,
can do
absolutely.
basically everything. I'm gonna look it up right quick because I'm curious to see how he's doing in when he's the roll man because I don't remember. I think he used to be pretty good at that.
He was definitely elite role finisher. He was. That was like his most effective offense as the big man rolling to the hoop. But he's fallen in love with the jumper,
Yeah,
and
so yeah,
it's
so so last year he wasn't great at it. He was 52nd percentile, but that's still a really good play.
right.
Because even being average in the pick and roll, that's still going to score you more points than being average in isolation, for example. This year, he has not even had enough pick and rolls as a roll man run for him to count for the stat. So we just don't know. But that's kind of telling to me that we're just not running it for him enough. And even
Yeah,
last year, we only ran it for him 2.2 times a game. When pick and roll, that's a much easier way of getting offense than isolating, than posting up.
yeah. I wonder if this has anything to do with playing on the floor with another big. I feel like probably his better years is when he was playing the five.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at
But
his skill
again,
set,
it's like you can find times for Obi to screen somebody when he's playing on the floor with Mitch or Nerlens. Um, you figure that you could find a way to get Randall some pick and roll action. Like why not play him and RJ on the weak side and run pick and roll? Like
mhm,
it's again,
yeah, we
why not
have
get your best two players in
yeah,
action together?
yeah, we have legitimate options. We can do a lot more stuff this year. It's
Yeah,
and I want to say, I think for the most part we have been. It's just Julius has kind of reverted the last few games, almost to that 2019 form,
yeah.
where he's kind of taking the same shots as he did last year, but he's just not as good at them, and he's Beyblade. He's turning the ball over. uh,
Yeah, I mean, he was elite mid range, wasn't he? Like a 45% shooter from mid range. Like it was definitely like a very high number, and there was only one way for that to go down. It
mhm.
was like it's similar to like what happened with Trey Burke that
Yeah,
time.
yes, yeah. I
Right?
was I was about to bring that up. Yeah, that
Yeah,
one year that Trey Burke was automatic from mid, And I
Yeah.
was, I feel like I was the only guy like, hey, you guys know this isn't gonna last, right?
Yeah.
but to be fair about the Randall from mid range thing, from the 10 to 16 foot range, since that his first year in New Orleans, he's been pretty consistently 41 to 43%. So
Okay.
44% even. So and then 3 to 10 foot consistently around 41, 43. It's just really the long twos that he jumped above 40% last year. That 16 to
Okay.
3 foot to 3 pointer. But other than that, he he's been consistently good at mid range shots pretty much since he left LA, which is when he
Okay.
started to actually diversify his offense. But
See.
yeah,
Shooting. Come on. How's he doing? How's he doing today? Yeah, that 10 to 16 foot, he's down to 30% right
yeah,
now,
yep.
and but that's not including
Mhm.
today's game because I'm on Basketball Reference right
Yeah,
now.
yeah, I'm looking at that too.
Uh,
Man,
yeah,
I wish Basketball Reference and stats on NBA.com would update faster.
I know that would
There
be
are
such a
some
big
things.
help.
Yeah, like there are some things like you should be able to have like the basic stats for any player right when the game's done or within a
Yeah,
few minutes. But they finally just updated the basic stats for players, so now I can see RJ's averages on the year: 19 points, 5.6 rebounds, 2.6 assists on 49, 42, 72 splits.
that's good.
Yeah,
I mean,
no, it is really
he's
good.
I mean, it stinks that we have not been that great, but he's been the best player for at least I would say the half of our games so far.
Yeah, and that's good. That's a really good sign, honestly, that RJ is finally coming into his own a bit. And that's the thing
Yeah,
too.
that
Is
I
like
guess
he's
probably
only
the only silver lining from these last two games that have been just so bad is that RJ has been the best player on the floor and
mhm.
he's just left with no help.
Yeah, yeah. Ironic a little bit.
I Yeah, it's like for his first 2 years we were like begging for him to blossom
Yeah.
and we like really needed him to step up and it's like now we're looking at the rest of the roster it's like who can help him.
Well, yeah, no, it's that, and it's just how much money have we spent like on upgrading the offense, right? Like
Yeah,
I understand. You know what? We're 5-3. We're still winning. I have a running record. We just had 2 losses in a row, but we're still 5-3. For the most part, the offense has looked the part. I'm just worried about the defense, and I brought this up the last couple games. Is when Moo's going on his boomer, oh, these kids these days shooting all the threes and taking all these shots, and that's what's the problem. The problem is the defense. And
yeah,
I remember, I don't know what it is now, but I remember saying, even in the second half of games, we were shooting 36% from three. League average this year is 34%. So even at our worst, we're still an above average 3 point shooting team. Now, that's probably
yeah,
changed after tonight, but still, the issue has not been the offense. The issue is the defense. We can't
yeah.
stop anybody.
Yeah. Well, and that's what like I kept seeing tonight is just that you run Kemba off a staggered double screen, and he's just lost. And Brogdon was just able to like waltz his way into the paint, and he's a great playmaker, and he has like floaters and stuff like that. So he was able to find whoever he wanted. Like we were able to mess with Levert a little bit, but then he ended up getting hot, and I believe it was the fourth quarter that he started to take over. Let me see.
Oh, speaking of,
RJ went 0 for 4 in the fourth.
yeah,
Yeah, he was the leading scorer in the fourth quarter. Actually, no, Turner was. But yeah, he was able to just take people off the dribble and get into the paint. Like we held him in check for the first half, and that while everyone else was going off, and then he was able to carry them home.
mm-hmm, yeah. So
Just
I
bad.
think so. So I have to ask, like, I know the answer to this is never, but I have to ask, like, when does Tibbs consider working McBride into the rotation? Like, when would we consider, if he's good enough, saying, "Hey, you're a great defender. Just stand around and shoot threes. Basically, play the Reggie Bullock role, but defend point guards."
I
I
don't.
think
I don't think that's ever
I know
realistically.
I know that's never happening, but You think about
I
it.
think I think Grimes is going to have his opportunity first. I think I think IQ is going to be on the chopping block if things are if he can't figure out his shot.
Yeah.
I know he wasn't terrible tonight. 2 of 5, 4 points. Well, I guess that is pretty bad. More shot attempts than points,
Yes.
but
His
um,
Quickly's offense has just not been there.
it,
Strangely, I think he's been pretty good on defense. His
yeah,
offense has just not been up to par. So to me, I'm looking at the roster. I'm looking at what's happening, and I'm saying, well, the issue is that we're we're still not fully consistent on offense, but that's to be expected. We don't have the type of players for that. We need more balance. We need more guys who can defend in the starting five. So if you
yeah,
had a solid defender at the point guard, even if he's not giving you much besides spot up threes on offense, if you do that and and Randall gives effort, that's 4 out of 5 positions where you have at least solid, if not great, defense from. Our only
yeah,
weak link in that event would be Fournier. But given that Kemba, Fournier, and Randall are all negative defenders, and RJ is really just good, not great.
average.
Yeah,
Yeah,
average to good. The only really good defender in starting five is Mitch, and even then, he's not. He's since coming back, he's clearly not good enough to make up for all that. Maybe he was like before he broke his foot and put on the weight, but now he's not.
it's we traded our offense. We traded defense for offense, and we've just had the past 2 games. We just haven't been executing offensively, and that's what the killer is with Randall is that he's probably shot. I believe he shot under 40%. Oh no, he was efficient against Toronto. That's my
Yeah,
fault,
yeah,
but
yeah,
that's
but that
been
was
his.
really he was efficient for 1 quarter. That
Yeah,
was it. But yeah, besides that 1 quarter, he really hasn't been that efficient since the first Magic game.
yeah.
He's putting up the stats. Sometimes he isn't, but sometimes he is. But he's just not. He's just not really. He's not playing like he did last year, and that's a
Yeah,
shame.
obviously excluding this game right now, Randall is 38 since the second or the first Orlando game, 38% from the field, 38.5% from three, or 18 points a game. I mean, I feel like that's probably a pretty decent true shooting. It's not like terrible, terrible, but yeah, it's not great. 15 field goal attempts for 18 points. That's pretty bad. And I don't know if this is just that people are guarding him differently or that that 10 to 16 foot shot has just disappeared for him.
Yeah,
And
I
and
think.
I think that's
Also
probably
the thing
that's
is
what it
like
is. The 10.
like the thing is like on the year, and this is including tonight. He's 21 points on 17 attempts, 41.5 from the field, 35.7 from three, 82.6 from free throws. So that's pretty good. But that's a true shooting of 53.1. And
Yeah,
uh,
that's pretty below average if I would
yeah.
say so.
So to be fair, true shooting percentage for this year is down overall.
Yeah.
So if I can just find it real quick, here we go. So league true shooting this year is 547 compared to last year is 572, which doesn't sound like much, but that is a pretty big drop off. So
Yeah.
Randall is still below average true shooting, but not by much.
Okay.
But still, it goes back to what I forget when I said this, but I said it on a pod. You really don't want your number one guy to be below or at average true shooting. You need your number one
Absolutely.
guy to be above average true shooting. So RJ is at the elite efficiency mark. He's at 60.7% true shooting. 60% and above is pretty much elite. But the thing about him is like,
I'm glad our boy's blossoming.
yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
guess I think
Yes,
realistic.
but the thing about him is that like you didn't even see it tonight. It kind of comes and goes a bit. He's
Yeah,
not fully ready to be that number one, but he's getting there.
I mean, you saw it in the fourth quarter. I don't know if it was like Tibbs cooling him off, but he just didn't have as good of takes. And Miles Turner is pretty damn good at what he does, which is shot blocking. That is what he's known for. I mean, you saw a bunch of time. He only had 3 blocks today, but you saw a few times today where he altered shots without getting blocks. And what's funny is that this is usually the type of guy that RJ struggles against, the good rim protectors. But I mean, he's been consistently good at the rim this whole season, which is great.
Yeah, yeah.
But
That's
unfortunately, the rest of the guys have been letting him down.
yeah, yeah.
I
That's
don't
something
I don't think
I
I
brought
don't
up
think we've
last
really
time.
had a game. I don't think we really have had a game where everyone's had a good game at
No,
once.
no, we haven't. Something I brought up last time was RJ's finishing. I can't find it. They don't have the stats for this game included in there, but he's in like the high 70s at the rim, and within 10 feet, he's in the mid 60s. So
Awesome.
he's been really improved at finishing, and that's just really
Yeah, I
great to see.
think we'll probably see him come back down to earth a little
Oh,
bit,
definitely,
but
definitely.
I mean, it's a very exciting sight to see. Oh, it's like on less volume, which means he's probably picking and choosing his spots a little bit better and
Mhm.
kicking out a little bit more,
What?
which is
Well,
what we've been begging for.
it's that he's taking more threes, and so well, he's driving less, taking more threes, but the drives he's taking are better drives. If that makes sense.
That makes a lot of
He's
sense.
he's kind of transformed into that Maury ball type player where
Yeah,
he's not really taking mid range shots. He still does take them every once in a while, but
he had a nice one
yeah,
tonight.
he had a nice one tonight. But you can see that that's really not his strength. I think that's what he's working on next is
Yeah.
his mid range game. But he's 21, and if the finishing continues through the rest of the season, that's he went from being a poor finisher, poor mid range shooter, and poor 3 point shooter his rookie year to developing a 40% 3 point shot his second year to his third year, adding a layup package. So it's like, man, this guy has improved so much in such a short time. It's like I have no doubt that he can eventually add that to his game.
Oh yeah, and again, it's not that I was a little bit more concerned before he started breaking out,
Yes, you were.
but yeah,
I remember.
yeah. Again, it's like too. It's like I also thought that Hanlon's off the dribble package was going to take a little bit more time to show up.
I think
I
it still
wasn't.
is. It still is
Yeah,
gonna take time. Like it's not fully there, but it's getting there.
right. I mean, I didn't never expected him to have a game like he did against the Pelicans.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was the stuff that we've been all dying to see, and all of a sudden he was explode. It was an explosion of coming around the screen, hitting step back threes and whatnot. So it's like those flashes are there, and I feel like that's probably the only silver lining of these past couple games, um, for lack of a better metaphor,
Mm-hmm.
because we're not going to unless we can get our defense back to average. I feel like we might slide a lot, and it's not great that Friday we have to play the Bucks.
Mm-hmm.
Now Middleton may not play because he has COVID. I don't know if he was vaccinated. I feel like majority of the NBA is, so
Yeah,
it's
yeah, they're
it's
over
possible.
95%.
Yeah, so it's possible. Although we found out that Aaron Rodgers, who said he was vaccinated, was like doing some voodoo
Oh, no, 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 no,
stuff.
no, 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 no. No, he never said he was vaccinated. He never said he was vaccinated. See, he said he was immunized against it. There's a difference.
Oh, so loophole.
Yeah, but like that Aaron Rodgers thing, like if they lose when he's out, that kind of shows the whole point of like this is why you get vaccinated if you're a sports guy, just so that you don't have that like that's a competitive disadvantage, especially in
Also,
football.
apparently, if you break NFL rules, apparently they can suspend you up to 4 games
Yeah,
with regard to COVID.
yeah,
So
it's
they've
not even like so much as a hey you're gonna die if you don't get vaccinated because that's not true. It's more of like a hey if you're gonna miss 1 or 2 games as a football team, that's a big deal. It's not so much of a big deal in basketball, but it's still like you're putting yourself in a position where you're just not gonna be around 4 games. So just yeah, I just don't get why you don't take it on that principle. But anyways,
it'll
uh,
be interesting to see if Goodella has the balls to actually suspend him or not,
yeah,
because
he won't.
realistically he should be suspended.
Yeah,
But
he won't.
But I feel like we're getting a little too
Yeah,
off
off topic.
topic
Yeah.
talking about this. Um, I guess it's probably that time to do scrub of the night. Al, do you have any scrubs of this evening?
Well, you know, traditionally you would go with someone like Kemba Walker. 2 for 11, 0 of 5 from 3. Just a terrible all around performance. But I got to give it to my guy who came in tonight for his first game of the season and was just absolutely could not handle the ball at all. That's right. Nerlens Brookhands Noel is back. Did you see? Did you see that those two missed free throws from the Pacers that Noel couldn't grab the last one on and he tipped it back in?
Oh, I did. Yes.
They said Breen said it was whoever the Pacer was. I think it was Torrey Craig. He said it was Torrey Craig who tipped it back in. No, it was entirely Nerlens. Like he for that alone, I have to give him scrub of the night. How do you do that, man?
Yeah, that's not exactly homecoming that I was expecting from New Orleans.
What does he need to do? Does he need to like I don't know I don't know what he needs to do. It's like
he should just get stickum.
Yeah, he needs like some stickum. He needs to like get some hand moisturizer. Like rub that shit on every night. Get his hands nice and soft. I don't know, man. He has like naturally hard hands. I don't get it.
So what we needed Taj tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah. So since you went with a Nick for scrub of the night, I'm gonna go with a former Nick, Justin Holiday. Once a Nick, always a Nick, baby. 0 for 7, 0 points, 2 turnovers, 3 rebounds, and an assist, -5. It was except for a couple guys that came in for garbage time. He was the only one that was a rotation player that was in the negative. Very bad, very bad.
You know,
I feel like our slice out the box was talking about
no.
Randall's mid-range decline.
Yeah. Before we do that, though, back on the scrubs, you talking about former Knicks, right? And I was just thinking, man, like I had the Mavericks the game on before, right? Just like in the background, I was doing stuff, and you know, he's my boy. But I gotta do this, man. I wish Slice were here for me to tell you that my co-scrub of the night is Frank Ntilikina. 0 for 6, 0 for 6, 0 2 from 3, 0 points, 1 turnover, -13 in Dallas tonight. Good for him though. He's working his way into the rotation, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I've seen a lot of tweets online being like, "Oh, we need Frank to play instead of Trey Burke." Oh God, yeah. 0 of 6. Oh
Yeah.
man.
Oof.
So gotta get MP Harris a new meme.
Yeah. He's a large
20
oof,
minutes.
as his people would say.
Yeah, it's so funny that the Mavs can play better when Porzingis is not playing.
Yeah, well, I wonder why that is.
Yeah, terrible.
Yeah. Hey, Frank had that like one good game a couple nights ago.
I mean, that's the story of his career. 1 good game, 10 bad games, groin injury.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, well, I think we covered this game pretty well. RJ good, the rest of the roster bad. And yeah, that's pretty much been the theme for the past 2 games. Now we have the Bucks on Friday night. Hopefully no Middleton. Maybe I feel like we had that game last year at the beginning of last season where like Randall just went insane against the Bucks. I don't know if we ended up winning. We blew them out, I think, actually.
Yeah, I remember that too. I can't remember exactly
what happened. We just made it rain from 3. And I feel like we're due for one of those games again. We've been off for the past couple nights. Maybe our 3-point shooting will heat up. And I guess before we sign off, I feel like we should talk about Tibbs a little bit. Again,
God.
we were.
I looked it up. That we won 110. Alfred Payton had 27 points.
There it is. That's the reason why we won. Elf on the shelf. I just think Tibbs. I know like Kemba's supposed to be the starter, but I feel like you just can't go with bring your starters back. And it's like I understand Tibbs plays the starters a lot, but I've always been told, and I've always seemed to think that like last year, the only person that was guaranteed minutes last year was Randall. If RJ was bad and Burks was good, Burks would be playing. If Fournier was or not Fournier, if Bullocks was bad, IQ was good, IQ would be playing. Tonight was one of those nights where Rose was good, Kemba was bad. You got to stick with Rose. And another weird thing too that I feel like this is probably also on Tibbs to try to keep all the cooks in the kitchen happy. He's put Burks on ball a lot and had Rose stand in the corner. And I don't know if that's like we're just trying to conserve Rose because we're going to need him later on, but that's the reason our bench was so good was the ball was in Rose's hands and he was creating.
Well, he's shooting 50% from three.
I know, but
Wild.
I feel like a lot of those are off the dribble jumpers, and I guess I can't really base that on anything other than my memories. But I think if you're going to have someone create, it's got to be somebody that can get to the rim, and Burks can kind of get there, but not as well as Rose can.
Nah,
Again,
really
I don't.
can't. He really can't get to the rim. He's definitely a shot creating, like jump shot creating guy.
Yeah, I mean the same thing with Evan as well. And I think that's probably what's been so frustrating watching the starters in general is that really only RJ gets to the rim. Um, we need more of that from Kemba. We need more of that from Evan. We need more of that from Rose. We need more of that from Burks. Um, I think we've got the 3-pointers down. We need to get more dribble penetration, and that may not just be what's we want to have it on the roster. So, Tibbs, more action at the rim. Figure it out. Kyle, any final thoughts?
Yeah, no, I think we pretty much covered it. Figured it out.
Cool. All right. Well, the Knicks lose again. We are 5-3. The Pacers were 111-98 on the back of Miles Turner's career night from 3, and then we've got another game against the Bucks on Friday, and let's hope that we can bounce back against one of the best teams in the NBA or the defending champs. I don't know what they are record wise right at the moment, but yeah, they're the defending champs, and we're gonna have a big test on Friday. This was another episode of the No Blood, No Foul podcast. I'm Jim. I'm also signing off for Kyle.